Alright, good afternoon YouTube. Making a new video today. It's getting harder and harder to find time to make videos now. But, I wanted to make this one feeling pretty creative. I've gotten back into a Grateful Dead kick. Grateful Dead was a band I started listening to when I was about 12 years old. And I remember I was 12 years old because that's when I first got a CD player. And I remember when I was 12, my mom and I used to go to this place called Hastings all the time, which doesn't exist anymore, sadly, but it was a great place. And I remember I wanted to check out the Grateful Dead. I had heard, a new Touch of Grey and Truck, and I watched she rented the movie, the Grateful Dead movie for me, and I was blown away by that movie. And I had just gotten a CD player, and I wanted to, build up my CD collection. It's actually pretty big right now, but, at the time, they had these CDs that were on sale for $10. That was cheap for a CD back in '92. That was cheap back then. Now you can find them for like $3 or $4, brand new sometimes. But they had two Grateful Dead CDs there at that price. There was Terrapin Station and In the Dark. And I wanted to get Terrapin Station because I thought the album cover was so cool. I just love that album cover. And when Mom bought that CD for me and I listened to it, it blew me away. It completely changed my life, and I fell in love with it instantly. And that's a studio album, which is what I'm here to talk about today. I have a friend of mine that I met in a Grateful Dead chat room many years ago, like 2002, I think it was, on Yahoo, back when Yahoo had chat rooms. And I've talked to him for years, and he's one of these guys that's very opinionated. He thinks he's right about everything. His name is Tom Robinson. So some of you deadheads might have met him or seen him at shows. And he goes to shows. He goes to a lot of shows, and he's been to Rat Dog and Phil and Friends and Further, and I believe he's seen Dead and Company too. But I would tell him that I really like. I know the Grateful Dead are a live band. I know they are meant to be heard live. I know that's the real way to hear them. But I told them that I really like their studio albums a lot. In fact, right now, I'm playing this album, Built to Last. This is their final album. And I've had this copy for a long time. I've had it forever. And I really, really like this album. And I was telling him I was listening to this last night, and he was saying, well, you weren't there, you weren't part of it because you weren't listening to it stoned or tripping on acid, and you didn't go to the shows, so you have no clue about the whole concept of the Grateful Dead. Like I said, he's very opinionated. And basically he says, the studio albums, that's not the way to go. You have to listen to them live, and you have to be high when you listen to them, basically. So in this video, this is for all the deadheads out there that come across it, just to let people know that I like the studio albums. Yes, I listen to them live sometimes. I have a few live recordings. In fact, I just bought, about 10 minutes ago on eBay, I found a copy of the Rock in the Cradle CD DVD for like $58. And a lot of those CD DVDs that they've put out are really pricey now because they're out of print. I used to have a copy of Crimson, White, and Indigo. I sadly don't have that anymore, and the cheapest I found that on the internet was $94 on Amazon, and that's a great DVD. That's a great show. And the CDs are good too. I used to watch that. I watched the DVD more than listen to the CDs, but yeah, the DVD is great. I wish I still had it. I think I might have paid $60 or something for my copy at Waterloo Records. I can't remember. But I bought the Rock in the Cradle 2 CD DVD because it was $58, and I'm thinking, well, these things they're jacking up the price because they're out of print. I'm probably not going to find it cheaper than that. And it was free shipping too. So hopefully that will come this week. And that's got to be the last thing I buy from the Grateful Dead, or purchase I make for a while. I spent way too much money. I finally got my huge check from my car accident and the lawsuit, and I've already put $6,000 on a new car, and then I got to put the rest of the money on the car tomorrow. So I'm getting a used 2010 Ford Fusion, tomorrow. I've been buying way too much with this stuff. I went to Half Price Books and made purchases last night, so the Grateful Dead's Rock in the Cradle, which is one I've been wanting forever, the whole Egypt show, which is a huge monumental, big famous show they've done. I've seen some of it on YouTube. It's pretty cool. I know Jerry hated the recordings, and that's why it wasn't released till after he died. But going back to the Grateful Dead, apparently this video is to let people know that apparently I've been listening to them wrong because I like listening to the studio albums. And I have a few. I don't have every one of their studio albums, but I have a handful. And another one I'm getting in the mail is Shakedown Street, which I already have. But I bought the remastered one with the bonus live songs because my copy I got back in 92 or 93 used, and my copy's been through hell and back. It's all scratched up. I'm scared to play it on my CD player. Plus, it's good to have those live tracks. And those live tracks, 3 out of 4 of them are from the Egypt show. So that's pretty cool. I can listen to them and then, of course, watch the DVD when that comes in. So Shakedown Street's another album I really liked. It's I know it's like the Disco Dead, but I like that album. There's not really a studio album from them I don't like. This one I like quite a bit. I used to really... Brent Midland has like 4 songs on this. When I first heard the Brent songs, when I first got this years ago, I did not like them. And my friend said that he thought that Brent had the best song on the album. Well, listening to it last night after not listening to it for a while, Brent's songs are great. I remember hearing Blow Away from the Crimson, White, and Indigo DVD. I'm thinking, man, it was just so powerful, that Blow Away. I just loved it. And then the studio version's good too, but of course it doesn't compare to how great it was live. But still, it's good. See, the thing is with the studio stuff, I really like them and I enjoy them for what they are and not for what they're not. And I know there's some deadheads that totally detest the studio stuff. And I know this was not one of their well-liked studio albums. I mean, people that like the studio albums talk about American Beauty or Working Man's Dead, which are also great. You know, my personal favorite is probably Mars Hotel. But this is a good one. And here, Picasso Moon. Everybody hates Picasso Moon. I love it. That's my favorite song on this album. I love Picasso Moon. I think it's great. You know, I love Blow Away. I love Foolish Heart. Built to Last is great. Standing on the Moon. Yeah, this is a really great thing. They give you a little... This is not the remastered one because I got this years ago, but pretty cool fold-out poster in the CD thing. I like that. That's a good picture of the band. You got the late great Jerry Garcia, late great Brent Midland with the other guys. I like that. I like the album cover too, where they're just building a card house. They have like pretty much every one of their album covers was awesome. So basically, this message is to say that apparently, from what this guy is telling me, because I didn't go see Grateful Dead live, I never got to see them live because I didn't have a chance to. They didn't come to Texas, and Jerry Garcia passed away sadly. About 3 years after I got into him, about 2.5 years after I started listening to him. And I was 15 and I had no way to even go to a concert back then because I had no way to, even if they came to like Austin or Houston, and I was living here at the time, which is Bryan. I lived in Austin for a while but came back. Even if they came to those places, I still wouldn't have a chance to go because nobody would, I mean, my sister might have taken me, but the fact that they didn't come to Texas, I really had no chance of seeing them anyway. And that's one of the reasons why I don't listen to live stuff all that much, because I didn't get to be a part of that. I like to listen to the live stuff. I like listening to live shows and the Crimson, White, and Indigo, and even Live Dead. If you want to talk about a live album, I mean, Live Dead's probably the best live album they put out. But it saddens me because I didn't get to be a part of that. And I'm sober. I don't do drugs at all. I don't like them. I don't have a problem if people do them. I mean, that's, I'm not saying not to do them, but that's a personal choice. So that thing I didn't really agree with, about the fact that he said, because I don't trip on acid and don't get stoned to them, listening to the Grateful Dead, and I listen to the studio stuff, I'm not a true fan. He also said you can't be a true fan unless you've seen them live. So I wanted to ask you, Deadheads, what do you think? Do you think I'm actually doing it wrong? Do you think I'm the wrong kind of Grateful Dead fan, or am I even a Grateful Dead fan at all? I like listening to the studio albums. I was listening to 3 of them last night. I listened to Mars Hotel, Built to Last, and Blues for Allah. I've got a burned copy of Blues for Allah. Sounds great. Love it. I don't like the Blues for Allah suite. That's pretty terrible, I have to say, on side 2. Side 1's killer. Terrapin Station's one of my favorites. I still love that one. As far as his favorite studio album, it's hard to pick between Mars Hotel and Therapist Station. Those two are really up there for me. And of course, I mean, American Beauty is awesome, but those have got to be my top two. But what do you Deadhead fans think? Do you think because I never saw them live, because I listen to studio albums a lot, let's just not even go into the drug thing. Not every Deadhead fan's, into drugs, I know. That's overhyped. But because of those two reasons, am I listening to the Grateful Dead wrong? Am I not a true fan? I'm just kind of curious what you think. This guy is real opinionated, and I've talked to him forever. Tom Robinson, you might know him. And he's saying I'm doing it wrong. I mean, there's kids I've seen at Dead & Company shows that will talk about Dark Star from some certain show they had before. They were born after Jerry died, and they won't even talk about the studio albums. Well, I like what I like, and I like the Grateful Dead. I really do. I have friends of mine, and some of them were friends that were in my band, Crack the Wall, that absolutely loathe the Grateful Dead. They hate them. They don't get them. And I can understand they're not for everybody. But I love the Grateful Dead, so I always loved the Grateful Dead community. It seemed like a very friendly fan base, but this guy, I don't know. So I'm kind of curious what you Deadhead fan bases will say. Am I doing it wrong? Do you think I'm listening to the Grateful Dead wrong because I listen to their studio albums? I do listen to the live stuff, but I do find myself going to the studio albums a lot. I know some people don't listen to studio albums, and that's fine. They just listen to the bootlegs. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to listen to it. Sober, high, studio live, as long as you like them. But I'm just curious what you Deadhead fans think. Am I doing it wrong? And if you're anything like that guy and saying that, well, you don't really get the Grateful Dead because you're listening to Built to Last, you're not a true fan, well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'm just curious what you guys think. Alright, thanks for watching. Looking forward to my Grateful Dead packages. Looking forward to Rockin' the Cradle and Shakedown Street Remastered with the Egypt tracks. It's really hard to do videos now with what's going on with the house, what's going on with the family and everything. And my mom passed away a couple months ago, so it's been real hectic around here. But I get to videos when I can, so I appreciate you watching this. I appreciate the Grateful Dead community watching this. There's just some awesome Grateful Dead fans on YouTube that I just love, and I've watched their videos and just wanted to see what your reaction would be if I said, am I doing it wrong? I'm just curious. Am I not the right kind of fan? Maybe you're right. I'll see you on the flip side with another video. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll do another Grateful Dead one, because this was fun to do. I haven't worn this shirt in a really long time, and I love this shirt. So, have a good day, everybody, and be gratefully dedicated.